Las Vegas drew 38.5 million visitors in 2025, the lowest total since 2021, down 7.5% from the year before. There were 12 consecutive months of year-over-year visitor declines, including double-digit drops in February, June, and July. Hotel occupancy fell to 80.3%, and revenue per available room dropped nearly 9%. So what went wrong on the Strip, and why are locals not surprised? The promise of Las Vegas was simple. You might lose at the tables, but you would win on the deal. Cheap rooms, bottomless buffets, and a sense that your dollar stretched further than anywhere else in America. That bargain has collapsed. By 2025, a basic room on the Strip comes with a mandatory resort fee of $30 to $45 per night, tacked on at checkout whether you use the gym or not. Parking, once free and plentiful, now runs $12 to $15 a day at nearly every major casino. Even the simple pleasure of a casino buffet, once a staple, has all but vanished. In 2019, 38 Strip casinos offered buffets. Now, just 12 remain, most replaced by expensive a la carte options. At the tables, the change is even starker. The $5 blackjack table, a long-time entry point for casual gamblers, has nearly disappeared. In 2020, 38 casinos offered low-limit blackjack. By 2025, only 6 do. Table minimums of $25 or even $50 are now standard, shutting out anyone without deep pockets. For the average visitor, each new fee and vanished amenity feels like a small betrayal. The Strip's operators have chosen higher margins over loyalty, squeezing every possible dollar from guests and erasing what made Vegas accessible in the first place. For millions who once made the pilgrimage, the cost is no longer worth the trip. For decades, Canadian travelers made up a steady backbone of Las Vegas tourism, filling hotel rooms and casino floors even during lean years. That presence has faded to a shadow. Between 2019 and 2025, the Canadian share of total visitors dropped from 8% to just 3%, a loss of more than 5 million trips. The reasons are starkly economic. The Canadian dollar, already weak, lost another 15% of its value against the US dollar between 2022 and 2025. Every meal, show ticket, and slot machine pull became more expensive overnight for Canadians, turning what used to feel like a bargain into a splurge. Airline data tells the rest of the story. In 2025, AIR Canada carried 19% fewer passengers to Las Vegas than the previous year. WestJet and Flair also cut capacity by nearly a fifth, citing low demand and high operating costs. Canadian origin ticket sales at Harry Reid International Airport dropped to just 5% of the total, down from 9% 3 years earlier. Each lost flight represents hundreds of empty hotel beds and silent casino tables. These numbers are more than statistics. They reveal a Strip exposed to global headwinds it once shrugged off. The Canadian retreat magnifies the Strip's vulnerability, showing how quickly a core market can vanish when the economics no longer make sense. What was once a reliable pipeline of visitors has become a trickle, leaving operators scrambling to fill the gap. The Strip depends on conventions to fill hotel towers and keep restaurants busy through the winter. In early 2025, that lifeline vanished almost overnight. The federal government shutdown stretched on for 43 days, freezing budgets and sending 800,000 federal employees home without pay. For Las Vegas, the timing was a disaster. January is supposed to be peak convention season, anchored by the Consumer Electronics Show, the single largest event on the calendar. When CES was canceled, the Strip lost an estimated $230 million in hotel bookings, gaming, and dining revenue in one blow. The shock did not end there. Other major shows, like NAMM and Heims, either scaled back or postponed. Infocom and Cisco Live, both scheduled for June, disappeared from the city's books entirely. By the end of the shutdown, the Strip had lost roughly $500 million in convention-related revenue, with ripple effects spreading across every sector. Hotel occupancy in the first quarter dropped sharply, and RevPAR slid by double digits compared to the previous year. For hospitality workers, the consequences were immediate. Nearly a quarter reported reduced hours or temporary furloughs, and unemployment claims among hotel staff spiked by 15%. One bellhop, furloughed for the first time in his 22-year career, described the casino floors as eerily quiet, like someone pulled the plug on the city. The shutdown exposed just how fragile the Strip's recovery had become, turning a slow decline into a sudden freefall. After the post-pandemic rush, Las Vegas entered a sharp correction. In 2022, visitor spending soared to $79.3 billion, a record fueled by pent-up demand, stimulus checks, and a sense that the party was back on. By 2025, that figure had fallen to $71.5 billion. The drop was not just about fewer travelers. It reflected a fundamental change in how people spent their money and how much they were willing to pay for the same old Vegas experience. Harry Reid International Airport, once a bellwether for the city's fortunes, tracked the slide in real time. Passenger counts dropped from 14.2 million at the start of the year to just 12.1 million by November. Even headline-grabbing events like the Formula One Grand Prix, which brought in about 400,000 extra visitors in October, barely made a dent in the overall decline. The temporary spike was quickly erased by the ongoing slump. Analysts called it a return to earth after a sugar high. The spending binge of 2022 could not last. Inflation bit into travel budgets, and visitors began to scrutinize every fee and surcharge. The numbers made it clear the Strip was no longer a place where the average tourist could expect a bargain. The deal had changed, and so had the city's fortunes. Strip casinos posted a record $8.8 billion in gaming revenue in 2025, even as visitor numbers slipped to their lowest since the pandemic. The math behind that record tells a different story than the one on the casino floor. With fewer guests to fill the hotels and convention halls, the focus shifted to extracting more from each person who still showed up. The average visitor lost about $229 at the tables or slots, nearly 15% higher than just 3 years earlier. The real winners were the high rollers. VIP table play accounted for a growing share of casino profits, with the average win per elite gambler jumping from $1.2 million in 2022 to $1.6 million in 2025. Baccarat and high-limit blackjack rooms stayed busy, even as the main casino floors grew quieter. Operators leaned into this trend, raising table minimums and rolling out new perks for their biggest spenders. Meanwhile, slot revenue, the old backbone of mass-market Vegas, fell by 2.7%. Fewer casual gamblers pulled the lever, and those who did found higher minimum bets and tighter odds. The Strip's business model had flipped. Instead of relying on millions of small bets, it now depended on squeezing more from a shrinking pool of deep-pocketed guests. For the corporations, the numbers looked strong on paper. For everyone else, the city felt less like a playground and more like a gated club. While the Strip's numbers flatten and long-time visitors drift away, another side of Las Vegas is quietly thriving. Casinos oriented to locals, Red Rock, M Resort, and Tamemecos and South Point, are posting gains that stand in stark contrast to the gloom on Las Vegas Boulevard. In 2025, Red Rock's revenue per available room climbed 6%. M Resort saw a 7% jump, and South Point rose 5%, all while the Strip's revenue per available room dropped nearly 9%. These properties have built their business on a different promise: free parking, no resort fees, affordable buffets, and blackjack tables with low minimums. The value proposition that once defined the Strip has migrated to the neighborhoods, drawing in retirees, families, and lifelong residents who still want the sense of escape without the sticker shock. Casino executives at these locals' resorts describe a deliberate strategy. They market themselves as the antidote to high-priced, high-pressure Strip experiences, emphasizing comfort, fairness, and familiarity. For many, these venues have become the new social hubs, places where the old Vegas deal survives in spirit and in practice. The numbers bear it out. Gaming win at these properties is up even as overall visitation lags, and nearly 1/3 of out-of-state guests now spend at least one evening at a locals casino. Yet, from the Strip's boardrooms, the story sounds different. Caesars Chief Executive Officer Tom Reeg, on a 2025 earnings call, described the downturn as normal economic cycle activity and insisted there was no crisis happening in Vegas. But the data tells a more complicated story. As locals' casinos gain ground, the question lingers: is this a temporary correction, or is Las Vegas being fundamentally reshaped, one neighborhood jackpot at a time? Today, the Strip chases record profits while ordinary visitors count the cost. As high rollers replace the crowds, Las Vegas risks trading its soul for short-term gains. The original bargain, affordable thrills for everyone, is gone. What fills that void will define the city's identity for a generation. Share your thoughts below.